Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the Wake Up Hex show with, the usual cast is already called the C Team by Kinetics. So what is this now with the substitute deckhands? Is this the D Team or the Alpha? What are we doing? What's the vibes? Thank you so much for jumping in at such short notice. Das Baum, who's usually in charge of, organizing the Tuesday, rucked us last minute because he had to pick up someone from the aeropuerto. And Papa B is on a fishing. He's going spear fishing.
Nice.
Wow.
That sounds crazy.
That's yeah.
Very manly of him.
It's very. I was going to say something like that.
It's like castaway. I'm getting castaway vibes from, stranded on a lonely island.
I just saw a clip from a movie where somebody was out spearfishing and they couldn't do it. And they whipped out their .45 and started shooting the fish. Right. So, I forget which movie.
Dynamite fishing. Yeah, exactly. Let me just say hi to the chat real quick. We got Nom Nom in second place, but who is first? I don't know. Then Das Baum, I might not make it. DJ and Dougie, third place. Good morning, you guys. It's great to see you. Hex and his bees here. Avalon, good morning. Oh, here's Das Baum from the aeropuerto. Let's see.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm not even sure if I can hear you. We're in a lovely coffee shop here right now, and I'm not home. I don't have access to the streaming keys, unfortunately, because I got a friend of the airport. So yeah, can't be there, unfortunately, but I'm here to say hello. Thank you for everybody joining this morning and still holding tight.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting. I'll stay in, but I'm gonna deactivate my cam so I don't take too much traffic from the phone.
Yeah, there's lots of background noise too. Maybe mute yourself while you're not talking. Awesome.
Get an SBF.
Anything.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he forgot his razor too, and absolute SBF vibes with this Jerry curl that he's got going on. I don't know. Sucker Mouse in the chat. Hex and SB. Hex on air tuning in. Avalon has a 9-month member chat. Thank you for the 9 months. You can actually subscribe to the Discourse Syndicate channel here, and then like a paid subscription, which supports everything that we're doing up here. And then you get some special emotes and special highlighted messages that you can send. Bitcoin mints new coins every 10 minutes and gives them to the Bitcoin miners. Hex mints new coins every 24 hours and gives them to the Hex stakers. That's very true.
Yeah,
that's very true. And it's liquid because they can immediately dump the mined Bitcoin onto the market, onto the other holders' heads, whereas in Hex, when you are staked, the minted coins remain staked, so they're not yet liquid right away, which is a key difference in addition to that.
Yeah, I get so technical into that. When I saw that, I posted back up to them because we have an advantage with Hex, right? So rewards are granted daily, but until somebody does something with the contract, they are not minted. They're not minted. Right, so you have to either end it or good account it for any minting to take place, and only in the good accounting, the only minting happens with penalties, right?
Exactly. There has been lots of good accounting, especially on the Pulse chain side.
Yes,
recent weeks. I know you've looked at this. Maybe if you have an update version of that very chart, we can maybe look at that a bit into the show. Yeah, that's really the chat, the D team. No, I'm really grateful for Crispy Man, Alan Fizame to support me here real quick because I came totally unprepared. So we have to kind of wing this now. But the show must go on. Brizology is here. Good to see you, Finbear. Lots of OGs in the chat. Crypto King, SE, Mr. Sojourner. Salute. Got a Wookiee here. Alan, can you do a Wookiee sound?
We do that.
Nice. That's pretty good, actually. Melf Tony, Ash is here checking in. Good to see you. Yeah, and that's the latest price action. Pulse 4 zeros and a 5. Do you guys think we can get 5 zeros? Do you think we go even lower than this?
Dips are in the game. Man, I hate it, but it's true. They're in the game.
Alan, what do you make of the current price action? Where I mean, it's the longest of sideways, isn't it? That's how it feels to me.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's forced me to. No, I do, because it's forced me to. It's forced me to implement the ratio mentality, because we're in such a special ecosystem, and I've been talking about this with several community members, and I was hoping to get Crispy Man's input on it, and I got Markable's input on it last time, but I've been going back and forth between eHex and pHex, just going off that ratio, growing my bags, because I don't care which one I get. And I'm not a Deci maximalist of any sort, but that's just sort of what I got stuck with liquid from the perpetuals. And I've been going between eDeci and pDeci and just growing the bag either way. And I guess I got some questions for Crispy a little bit later on once he deploys his knowledge upon us.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to cover the highest of stakes real quick, because that was the main event this past weekend. There's also Richard has been tweeting today again. If you can see this here, let me enhance a little bit into it. So he was on about the gas fees, which we're also going to talk about a little bit later with Crispy. But he mentioned here that so far the highest of stakes is broadly being liked and accepted, and people are leaving lots of positive comments. I've seen one negative one on the Rotten Tomatoes. I went through them as well. That's just funny name for a website, right? Rotten
but has to be expected, right? You got to have some negatives, right?
Yeah, everybody. Sorry to interrupt. I put the links for Rotten Tomatoes and for IMDb. They opened up the possibility to rate now, and there is already hundreds of user ratings. Everybody should go and rate the movie if you've seen it, or if you're just excited about it. Just leave your review. Awesome. They are pinned in the telegrams in the main chats.
Yes, Hexicans, get on it, leave a review, interact with the highest of stakes. They also have a tweet out, an official one from the producers, where you're supposed to give your feedback, record a little video if you've seen it on the weekend, what your opinion is about it. So we have to really push, and that was one of my pet peeves, because I saw some influencers actually kind of shit talking the thing, and that's not what we should be doing right now. Even if you don't like it, just keep that to yourself for the time being. I'm sure there will be a moment where you can share everything. But if everybody always thinks immediately, says what they think, it's something like this that we clearly want to use as a promotional, as a marketing tool. We should really keep it all positive. Have you guys had the chance to see it in an actual cinema, Crispy and Alan? Have you seen it yet? Because I'm in Europe, as everybody knows.
I dodged the bullet. No, I didn't see it. I actually bought tickets to it, but I was in South Carolina with my family on vacation, and we had to decide whether we were going to take the 5-hour round trip to the movie.
Right.
And the family outvoted me. Apparently they weren't interested in going to Charleston to see it, and as it turns out, that one got rugged. So that probably saved my ass.
I heard that story. They sent the wrong film or downloaded the wrong movie at that very cinema. So nothing missed in
that was just the German version of the highest of stakes. Don't be too mad about it.
Some Nazi thing, some documentary about the Second World War.
You can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't. You can't write this script.
There's no way.
That's incredible. Alan, what about you? Have you seen it?
No, I've not been able to. I'm hoping maybe next weekend to do it, but Mr. Sojourner was hoping to hook up over there, and he's in the chat now, so maybe he wants to see it again. I stood him up, he says.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think he has seen it. I saw him in some footage somewhere there, so I think he already went to see it. Yeah, I'm super keen to see it too, but so far I had no opportunity yet. Thinking of actually taking a flight to the UK. If it's stuck in the UK, they're opening up some theaters now, UK and Ireland. It's all across the country, Birmingham, Nottingham, even, where we have large parts of the Hex community. For whatever reason, lots of guys are from Nottingham, from that area further up north. Scotland and Ireland it's playing too. So, but I hope that wasn't it, because I think Cineworld is the European partner, and I know that we have Cineworld cinemas as well in Germany. So maybe that trickles out further. That's why it's even more important that we stay with it, that we support it. And buy out those viewings. American Hexicans, if you still have a chance in your area, in your hometown, to get your hands on some tickets, it might just be a good investment for the greater good. I have a little video clip of what it looked like at the premiere. Let me see if I can play this. Lots of familiar faces, right?
Oh, yeah. Nice.
But they made a really big event. And then, of course, the movie started with Richard's address to the crowd.
We're welcoming you to the highest of stakes premiere. I really hope that you guys are going to enjoy it. These guys put blood, sweat, and tears for years into this project. Wasn't my idea. Didn't have anything to do with the production. Didn't have anything to do with anything. I was just in a bunch of scenes. Yay. I'm a movie star. No, I'm a clown. The me that you see in this film died, so enjoy it. Humble me is what exists now. What I wished that everyone would get is that there's only a few things in this world that can really change man's relationship with government, man's relationship with money, man's relationship with his time. Right now, we've got the highest inflation we've had since I've been alive, and that's 43 years now. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. And we've got banks collapsing, and we've got bailouts, and all of the things that people predicted would come true that are the reason that cryptocurrency was invented are happening. You know, there's certain countries that you may not have been to that this is life or death for them. You know, high inflation countries where their money is worth, you know, half as much at the end of the next year as it is this year. You got to get your money out of those currencies. And the dollar is not one of those currencies yet, but historically, about every 50 years, fiat currencies fail. Like it's very hard to have a fiat currency backed by nothing that lasts longer than 50 years, it seems. And, well, dollar's been around for a while. So I hope you guys enjoyed the movie. You know, I feel that it's wildly important for you to understand that the future really is digital. It really is cryptocurrency. And if you can get around the gatekeepers, if you can get the word out, if you can get people to learn about something that could really change the future, everyone gets rich together. When you get rid of all the middlemen and you get rid of all the waste and you get rid of all the inefficiency, that value, it goes somewhere. And it goes to the people that deserve it, the people that believed. Enjoy the film, everybody.
Nice. Isn't it nice to see good old Richard back again? Let's go around the room. What was your reaction when you saw that video clip? Crispy man.
Well, you know, I've got a long history of watching Richard, right? And so seems like the Richard I know. And I did appreciate his words. It was a little toned down, right, compared to some rhetoric, but pretty good, I think. Yeah, and like Bruce says, I like black t-shirt Richard.
Yeah, it's the black t-shirt Richard, and he's growing the beard back. It's kind of, he's going back to the looks of around the 2-year Hex anniversary, which I think, where he looked best compared to the clean shaven. Even though I'm a clean shaven guy normally, but I didn't like the clean shaven Richard look. Like, I think the beard. I think that's just part of him. I think. Alan, what do you make of that?
I thought when he came back with that, it is the old Richard in kind, but he's upgraded his game, because now he feels like the president in the room, and he has this like setup specifically for announcement, and it feels like there is something bigger coming, like he's preparing for something. It's not his just his living room and everything is just randomly thrown around, or just like where he lives, but it's more like I am gonna address the nation from here. So this is the kind of feeling I get from it.
So very presidential. Yes. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, no, that was that's the Richard I got to meet at the very beginning. It was really refreshing to see it, back on screen. And I've been thinking about it, and it just seems that he is taking the steps to slowly allow the community to take over, and allowing the bad blood and anything that might poison it slowly bleed out throughout this bear market.
Yeah.
And I can't wait until he can completely let it go, and the whole thing just runs it on its own. So, that was refreshing to see.
Okay. You think that's really the direction where it is going?
He might have some big things coming. Maybe he needs to address a few more things, such as the SEC thing. That's a battle he needs to fight himself, because he's the one named on there, not the community itself.
True.
We weren't named. We're not going to go to court maybe to support him, but if it ever comes to that. But outside of that, I think these are steps that he needs to take, because he doesn't have the luxury of what Satoshi did. And I'm not comparing him, one-to-one with him, but in a lot of ways he is that way. And in a way, his character or his leadership or guidance at some point needs to die, and allow the community itself be its own thing in its own positive way, just like the Bitcoin community did.
Yeah, I was actually going a bit back and forth on this with Crispy earlier today in our private chat room about the Satoshi wallets, because we were thinking about the OA wallets, and it's probably because they are really dormant. I mean, we've only seen one action so far, if I'm correct, where the OA started to stake over the big payday, which was just for 1 or 2 days on most of these wallets. And other than that, the OA has been this benevolent actor all the time, and those wallets are really sitting dormant. So going forward, it might actually make sense to draw even more to that Satoshi comparison, especially also for legal matters. I would assume if we just consider these wallets dormant, that might make sense. Might make a lot of sense. Yeah. Almai, thank you for joining us. What did you think when you heard that, saw that clip from Richard? You're muted.
He also probably thought everything on Portuguese, so he has to say it in Portuguese now.
No problem, we got you. Lisboa. Let me check chat real quick. What is chat saying in the meantime? Brazology. Halfway through my showing of the House of Steaks, they turned on the lights in the theater. What?
Get out.
Everybody out. Oh,
can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, my mic was not wanting to unmute.
No problem. What do you make of black t-shirt Richard?
No, I like the message. I like the transparency. I like having him express his own ideas in a very old Richard kind of way. I think that's why most of us are in this community, because of his early streams and the message he always shared with us. Even if in an abrasive way sometimes, the message was always on point. I'm not sure it's preparing already to change to what Alan was saying before. I think it's still a bit too early for that, maybe. But I just like the message overall and the way he shared it with us and the community. And I want an 8-hour stream again.
Yeah. He owes us one. I feel so too.
A couple.
A couple. Yeah. Yeah. Branton also says he's preparing to take down the SEC. Yeah, that might.
I kind of agree.
Like, if we're going by what Das Baum said with the presidential announcement, it might be some SEC fighting announcement. Might be a sacrifice for the wallet, but I think that's out of the question at the moment. I think he probably doesn't want to take it there.
And the SEC debacle has so many holes. It's like I heard yesterday to KTP's Twitter Spaces, the recording, and for like the first 15 minutes, she basically explaining how things actually happened when X was launched, which many people, even in the community, have it wrong, and also explaining why the sacrifice versus ICO matters, how they are different, and exactly how everything actually happened, and why the SEC letter or case has no fundamentals at all. Like, it's all smoke and mirrors in my view.
Elmire, when you say that people might have things wrong, is there something specific you're thinking of?
Yeah, I even commented on a tweet from Money Gang Crypto, I believe, that was saying that X was a Ethereum sacrifice, which was not the case. So X was not a sacrifice at all. It was launched fully decentralized, and people had the option to opt in on it with Ethereum, basically buying it with their Ethereum via the adoption amplifier at first, and then someone decided to list X in Uniswap, like any other decentralized token, and then people who were able to buy it or swap it via the Uniswap contract also. And there were arbitrage opportunities between the adoption amplifier and Uniswap, and most of us that were here at the beginning know about it, but apparently many new people have no clue about it, and they assume it was a sacrifice, and it's the same as Pulse and PulseX, and that's not the case at all.
Yeah, and it's a good comparison here, what Orion is saying, that Richard actually, before going live with Hex, a couple of times mentioned the launch phase very much alike with EOS.
It was the same idea as these EOS, but it was not achieved in the same way, because what it took from EOS was that you had a launch phase that lasted almost a year.
Yes.
And that you could opt in with your Ethereum during that year, and every day that Ethereum will get you some amount of EOS. But the way Richard did it was a lot more ingenious, because not only you had the free claim that Bitcoiners could claim of X without buying absolutely nothing, was literally a free airdrop if you could prove that you own those Bitcoins. That's a big difference. Also, everything was done through the X smart contract itself. So there were no third parties involved, no admin key stuff. It was the X contract itself had the launch year coded into it, and it was all done in the decentralized manner. And the way the flash address worked, which is the address that was able to receive the Ethereum after the flush function was run by anyone in the community, because that function was public, so anyone could flush the Ethereum from the contract to the flush address. So all those things were very different from the EOS. Only the initial concept was the same.
Also, even the OA had to mint its own hex through the adoption amplifier, so there was no pre-mining, no owner's allocation, nothing.
Yeah.
So that's why also people, when I think that's also part of this SEC thing, that it was buying up its own hex and creating fake volumes. And that's all wrong, because using the adoption amplifier to mint hex is, as you said, interacting with the smart contract. That's not buying on the open market.
Yeah.
About the flood patterns, by the way, in the very early days, I think on day 2 or so, we even have evidence of just some random guys on the internet, on YouTube, just doing the flushing. And I remember this video. That was like, I maybe even saved it. There was like one guy, he found the contract code and the function. It was like, oh, hey, that looks fun to do. I'm just gonna use it and see what it does. Ran it, and then he realized, oh, I just moved like tens of thousands of Ethereum. This is fun to do. And then he did it again. He was just having fun with the code. Some random dude on the internet.
Yeah, and not only that, but the adoption, the OA address was not supposed to have as much X. And the reason why it received as much X from the initial launch phase was twofold. First, almost no, or only a small portion of Bitcoin owners actually claimed the X, less than 3%.
Yeah,
which
was good. Good for us.
Yeah, but it meant that
a big stake during.
But it meant that a big percentage of the supply was available to be distributed via the AA lobby, and on top of it, since users that were doing it through the AA lobby had an incentive to what do you call it? To have not really an affiliate link, but close to it, because if someone referred you, they would earn some bonus. It was like a one-level incentive scheme that for instance, if I knew Cryptomatic, I could send them the link for the X front end with my specific number, let's say, and he would get a mint bonus, and I would get a mint bonus, and that would only work for one level, so he could not refer more guys for me to earn more tokens, and that would be minted out of the supply, and the copy of those bonuses will go to the OA. So since a lot of people receive those bonuses, and not many Bitcoiners claimed the X that they were owed, via the contract, that's why the OA ended up having such a big percentage of the supply. So it was not designed for the OA to receive 90 or 80% of the tokens. The early assumptions, assuming that more Bitcoiners would actually claim the tokens, would peg it at between 40 to 50%. And it would get diluted every year with the X inflation, like any other coin that launches at the beginning, right? Satoshi had all the coins at the beginning, and throughout the years it was being diluted, and now it owns like 5%, right? But on the second year, it owned like 50% still, or more. So
I just did a self.
It was not designed.
At least I self-referred.
You could also
for my own wallet.
If you self-referred,
each time I was minting something.
Yeah,
but it's worth today.
Yeah, it was like
worth doing.
30% extra, right? If you self-refer, so 33% extra that comes out of the supply. I think it was 33%.
More like 15, 10, 15. It wasn't that crazy. Like,
no, I think it was 20, and then 10, and then it compounded, so it ended up being 33%.
It became less. Yeah. True. Correct. Yeah, it became less as time went on. Yeah, I think people who did really well with that was Tron James. I think because he was really shilling that heavy on his streams. Hexologist, obviously,
and that was the goal.
Dog, I think too.
And the goal of having that sort of mechanic in the initial year was for degens like Trevor James to actually talked about it to more people.
Yeah, but he also did the work.
Marketing tool. Exactly.
He made streams about it. Yeah.
It was, and that's one of the fundamentals that Richard coded into the adoption amplifier in order to reach more people. Right. And that all ended on the first year. So now we have only the same mechanic it always had. And that's why the OA ended up having so much of the supply, because if you imagine everyone having a bonus of 30%, and the OA getting a copy of all of that, the overall percentage of the OA would increase significantly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the highest of stakes, once again, it's out. It's in cinemas, in a theater near you. And I think what was great to see over the weekend was the community came together. Also the SEC, but also with the movie, like we have a common cause again, like a common direction. So there was much less infighting in the past few days on Twitter. That was very good to see, and lots of spontaneous Hexican meetups spawned, I think, all across the USA. So people really met each other in real life, which is also very positive, instead of only doing the virtual thing. So all in all, very good. Lots of partying going on, and also some people a bit hangover, I think.
Like
I
don't know how I made my flight. I'm fucked up, dog.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. Yeah, but he made it back.
I just have a big important question, which is when Portugal?
Yeah,
that's my only question.
Yeah,
when Portugal?
When Germany? Well, when UK is where it's at for now. So
I think I'm getting a Ryanair flight to London to see.
Yeah, I looked at flights to Birmingham already, but it's super expensive.
Well, so I lived in Nottingham for 6 months, so maybe I'll go there and visit. So, because it's on the cinema there too.
I think 1 or 2 viewings in Nottinghamshire. It's the posh part of England. All right, where are we going next? Crispy Man, you've been fiddling with gas and looking at gas. It's one of the main key.
I'm gonna do my personal outro. Sorry, I have to go. I'm gonna be riding the car now. So see you next time. Thanks everybody for filling in.
No worries.
Later,
we got this.
Bye bye.
Me and the A team here.
Fiddling with the gas.
With the gas, yeah, because one of the key reasons I remember, Richard, when the whole pulse chain thing came to life, that one of these visions he had, or the reconnaissance things that he had, was that, especially when the gas fees were so high on Ethereum for staking, unstaking, that Ethereum Hexicans spend millions of dollars on the Ethereum network just to use Hex. And he said to himself, I remember this when the stream, he said on stream, like, wouldn't it be nice if we could keep all this economic energy within our own ecosystem instead of financing
Ethereum validator,
the Ethereum miners or validators as it's right now? Yes,
still a valid point, isn't it? Yeah,
it is totally. But you looked into this a bit deeper, how that's looking on Pulse Chain, correct?
Well, yeah, I'm looking more on the Ethereum side right now, because Pulse is very cheap. But I think there's some things we can draw some conclusions with. I mean, so what did I do? Right, I did share a visual when we want to. We
yes.
Can bring it up.
Okay. Shall I bring that up? Okay, hold on.
You can wait a minute or whatever. So what's really interesting is you go back to the beginning of Hex, and we look at the end stakes that were being done. And this is not a chart of the very beginning, but I mean, an end stake was 9 cents, 7 cents. Sometimes it was lower than that. Sometimes it was 30 cents, you know, in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Which kind of reminds me of today on Pulse, you know, and so I don't want to project that, you know, like assume that price is going to get really high. But just thinking about it, I just recognize now I know more, right? So it could be that someday we'll be looking at multi-dollar, $100 end fees on Pulse, right? So just something to keep in the back of the mind about what could possibly happen. And I'm not aware of anybody having gone and done this. I mean, I know Richard's got some data. I'm sure he's looked at this. Maybe some other people looked at it too. But what I wanted to do, and this is this first chart.
Yes. What are we looking at here?
It's just simply by day. What were the highest end stake fees paid? And
okay.
And so that's what I'm looking at right at the moment. And ultimately, what I'm trying to go after, DJ Cryptomatic, is additional information for people as we go into this next few years, right? What are they going to do with their eHex stakes? When should they be getting out of them? What should their staking behavior be? Because you can see the anomalies here. I mean, there were some fees paid as high as $2,600 US. You know, for a single end stake.
Even when it's low on this chart, it feels expensive.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely expensive, right?
I mean, $80, $200. I had one of these where I paid literally $850 for an unstake. I had that happen. Yeah.
And I've had some of those too. And you know what? I think big picture stuff, when people are doing their end stakes, one thing you can see is that people are impatient, and sometimes they're quite willing to pay very high gas fees rather than just waiting the 24 hours or the 12 hours to get a better fee.
True. Yeah. Or on Sunday mornings, you know, the advice has been given.
I saved for like $600 on one stake just for waiting like 2 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And even if we look, and I'll go to a different chart that'll show us.
Let me just add that that's another cool feature of the X contract, which allows you 15 days to actually end your stake without any penalties.
True.
Exactly. For cases like this, that you either can't or the way is too high and want to wait a little bit. So.
And even then, it's very minimal what you're losing if, let's say, you let it bleed for another 2 weeks. It's almost...
It's 1% a year.
Almost
a year,
nothing.
A week, 2 weeks, every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Still doable.
100%, because you have that time frame, right? You don't have to move on it. And so this is all work in progress. But if we look at this top chart, I'll just make it a little bit bigger here on the screen. This is tracking. There's two stake lengths that up to now have been the primary stake lengths that have ended, meaning they had the most ends, and that was 365 days and 30 days. And so that looked like a good place to start and begin to compare what the cost would be. And so you can see, if we look at the 365 days, that right now we're running right around $30 on average, right? But some people are paying as high as $40 or $50 because they're not waiting. But others are maybe spending half as much by waiting a little bit, you know, to find it. And they also might be using you know, some advanced techniques, right? As far as putting an end stake in for a low gas limit and letting it run for 24 hours or 48 hours. So I know people are doing that as well. But I think what's interesting here to me is that it might be maybe the average is 30 now, but there was a time where it was $600, you know, $700.
Yeah.
You know, even $800, right? And those correspond to September, right, during the high, and then the original kind of, it wasn't quite a blow off top, but that April, May of 2021 on ETH.
Do you know the way there?
Excuse me?
The way there on that top. How much was the way?
The Gwei amount?
Yeah, I don't have it right here available, but that's a good point. We could actually go look.
That could be another curve in there. Yeah.
Yeah, there could be some more stuff. Like I said, this is kind of a work in progress, but the Gwei is, so a lot of people don't realize, and I guess this would be a good place to talk about it, is that your gas fee is very volatile, right? It depends on the price of ETH, depends on the price of gas, it depends on the gas used, and all that comes together into a mix that ends up being a calculation. And so I don't quite have the GUI, though. This number here, like this 1.13, and to the -8 and 2.04, that's really GUI. I just haven't calculated it down, so it's like shows the actual number the way we would see it normally. So probably not as useful for people, but that GUI varies all day long.
That minus 1.13 e to the -8.
Yeah. But this is some raw data coming from the blockchain, so I don't have the exact numbers on them.
Sometimes people also forget to put it in perspective with as you just said, the Ethereum price, because damn sure when I had to pay the $850 for the unstake, one Ethereum was also worth $5,000. So now it's 1,800, and the fee to unstake is maybe $60, $70. So if you always, like, that's what I'm doing. I don't know if this is good advice, but I have like 3 different wallets with my hex stakes, and I always keep one full Ethereum sitting on them just as a dormant capital. I'm not trading it. Just sits there in case, because yes, if you have no Ethereum and then at hand, and then you have to unstake a stake, and you actually have to buy on the open market Ethereum, like to do that function, then that can catch you out. But if you have just sitting it there, and then it goes up and down with the price. But I don't know if that's good advice.
Don't screw with the Ethereum bull run. Ethereum needs to go up. It needs people to buy it. Come on, don't screw with the Ethereum bull run.
That's true. That's true.
No, but I'm saying always keep some Ethereum, like,
Well, I have a controversial. To some people, this is controversial. To me,
Peter,
it's not.
yes.
I've been DCing into ETH for over a year. And what am I DCing in for? I'm DCing in to accumulate enough ETH that I always have enough ETH to do whatever I want. Now, there's an argument that some people make. Well, you should be putting into Hex, right? And then you'll experience higher gains potentially. It's my choice to do ETH. I go into Hex enough already, right? I just want to make sure I have the gas to do what I'm going to do.
In that sense, it's totally stupid to leave it in Ethereum. That's right. But here comes Peter, who has a whole other strategy.
It's over. It's over. Eric Wallace bought the data.
It's all.
And
it's
he's
dead.
Mocking us. He's mocking us now. And
okay.
Richard's going to jail.
Yeah, so he wants a better entry price, right, Eric Wall?
You have a lot of static, Peter.
I don't know why.
Sorry.
People are still responding to him on Twitter. It's beyond me. Like, wow. He gets so much engagement, and I think he's causing more damage than he's actually helping, as being bridge to the Bitcoin establishment or whatever he claims to be.
He is funny. It's funny.
He's the funniest guy.
The Wimble dance at the Bitcoin conference. Yeah, wow.
But that's the game, right? Flood people out. Right? I mean, we don't necessarily participate in that, right? But that's the game, is to get enough people to get out so that the prices go lower, and then people rebuy, wash, rinse, repeat. Right. The problem is that us holders who have been holding and staking and mining, right? It's traumatic to see the prices drop, right?
I'm very tempted to break the promise I did to my wife and ape in with some more money.
Mortgage your house. Mortgage your business.
Sell it.
I already have a mortgage on it, so.
Yeah.
Well, take a second one.
All the indicators we're seeing, even the gold ratio is printing like buys right now for Hex, right? You look at it and it's saying buy now, but what that means though is this is a good time to start DCing or to continue DCing, and so it might be months and months, before the price comes back up. Might be going sideways.
Yeah.
You can never lose with DCA.
Yes, even more buying opportunities. Fantastic.
You can buy the dipping dip.
Speaking of buying, Maddie Allen, of course, had the 42-hour live stream around the highest of stakes premiere. It's split up in 4 parts on his YouTube channel, which had lots of people taking part. I think it's almost 70 different Hex personalities, which were streaming for a short bit. Make sure you check that out if you want to hear the latest and greatest from everyone in the community. That's all on Maddie Allen's channel. But one thing I tried to do there with the guys in the segment that I was on with Blue Bomb and Papa B, what is, if we're talking to new onboards, and we just spoke about DCAing, what is the preferred way of getting your fiat onto Pulse chain at the moment? What are you guys doing? Me, if I'm starting, I'm doing it the pleb way because I'm not using the bridge. I'm going via Kraken. I buy tether on Kraken with my euros. I then send the tether to OKX, and on OKX I'm buying Pulse chain, and then I'm sending the Pulse chain down to my wallet on
You're
Pulse
so
chain, which is
2018. That's so 2018. It's horrible.
It totally works. Also, the other way around. I sold something the other day, but what are you guys? What a shame, dang, with the bell. What are you guys doing? Alan, let's go around the room. How do you DCA these days?
Yeah, no, it's any way that I can.
White noise in the background.
Yeah, we have heavy rains right now, and my windows. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty bad out there. Yeah.
Sorry.
So I'll keep it brief.
No.
Essentially, I use either MoonPay. I'll go through Coinbase, just buy some ETH, transfer it to my wallet, and head over the bridge and just do my thing on there, and that's it. I keep it simple. I try not to go through
using Richard's bridge.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
it hasn't failed me yet.
Okay, good. And it takes 30 minutes, right? Until
it depends how congested it is. Sometimes it takes 10 to 15 minutes. I've had to wait the most, I think, about an hour and a half if it's a large amount.
Okay. Crispy Man, what is your preferred way?
I've been pretty generic with the bridge. I've just been using the bridge back and forth. Though I did sign up for Xerox Coast to start investigating whether that'll work for me.
Yeah,
which is the new on-ramp from those guys on off.
It is, and they launched their own stablecoin now, I believe. Is that already live?
It is. It is.
Yeah. So
people arbing it all day long now. It's live.
Arbing against what? Against
different markets.
USDC.
And, like on Fox, it's or PHUX. It's different. PHUX. How about that? Let's say it the right way. So PHUX might be a little different price. And then also when you go back to my understanding, you go back to the protocol. If you had purchased the CST, which is their Coast stablecoin, and you purchase it for less than $1, you can redeem it for $1. So people are doing that.
Avalon's actually right here, the Portal X swap site. I've actually used that too. If I don't want to go the routing through different things, and if it's already funds that I have on Ethereum to get these over to Pulse, that's very true. You can do atomic chain swaps between Pulse chain and Ethereum and a few others like Matic and all that stuff via Portal X swap. That's also working flawless, and it has a nice router as well that always gives you kind of the best deal depending on which they're tapping into various liquidity pools. And that for me, I can confirm, has also been working absolutely flawless, which is KDP's project that she's shilling for too. Elmire, how are you DCing on Pulse?
Well,
with fiat?
I haven't used the bridge yet.
Okay.
And mostly my DCA was at the time buying EX, so I haven't really bought big bags of Pulse and everything on the Pulse side. I only used the Go.Pulse front end for a small swap between the chains to see how it worked.
Right.
And that actually worked fine, but for bigger amounts, probably the fee will be quite high percentage wise. But I'm considering now DCing more, and I'll probably use the bridge because or Portal X, depending on the fees on each. Whoever gets me the best bang for my buck.
Bang for your buck. That's right. Peter, what are you doing? You're using the bridge,
USDC,
right?
get USDC from Coinbase, then bridge, and that's it.
So down to your Ethereum wallet and then using the
Yep.
bridge. Yeah. And Uncle Will has another suggestion, changenow.io. How does that work actually?
Yeah,
Do you buy
they
with
actually
a credit card, or how does that?
It's very similar to GoPulse.com, but with the added features of buying through a credit card. And they actually talked about X directly on their Twitter comments, saying they will still support the community. So that's nice to see, and it's good for them because we are the bigger chillers of their utility. So
Right. Okay.
There's something to that, Omar, right? I mean, time after time, we're seeing, in the grand scheme of things, people think, oh, we're just a piece of the entire market, but there's a lot of hexicans and pulsicans, and when they start moving in a direction, it can really screw up some of these guys.
When people say that or Richard says we made Uniswap popular, it's not an hyperbole.
No, it's real.
Hyperbole. We really did. We still are one of the most traded coins on Uniswap even today. Maybe I haven't checked on I haven't checked on the last week, so don't quote me on that. But before, we were always the top ERC20 token, other than stablecoins and wrapped Ethereum, and wrapped BTC. So, and at the beginning, we were number 1 and 2. So when stablecoins weren't really a thing yet. So yeah, to me, that says it, right?
Yeah. Alan, I'm just seeing you have another comment on Portal X.
Yes. Sorry, I know I have a lot of background noise, so I just might as well put it in the chat. But yeah, there were a lot of stories of people who were trying to buy Pulse and Hex through Portal X, and since they're an aggregator, a lot of their transactions do route through changenow.io. And a lot of people got their funds stuck for 10 to 12 hours and eventually getting a refund. So that's why I go the organic way, as organic as it can be, directly.
But when was that? That wasn't that right at the beginning at some place? Or
yeah, that was right when Uniswap delisted Hex and the whole thing. Thing, yeah. Yep.
Okay, so probably the bridge is the best option right now. I'd say.
It's organic. I mean, that's as organic as it gets, right?
Yeah, as decentralized as possible. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, even my beloved centralized OKX paused trading like for an hour, as centralized exchanges always do. Like when Bitcoin does a crazy move on the chart, forget about trying to log into Kraken or bitfinex. You can hardly get it.
Yeah, it's the same Bitcoin base.
And you would think that by now in 2023 they have moved to a bigger, stronger server or whatever, but
it's not in their best interest.
It may be on purpose. Exactly. Like a circuit breaker on Wall Street.
Hex should be on place 27 on Uniswap based on daily volume.
Yeah.
Actually, that's more of a circuit breaker to the plebs, because the real money guys, they use
they're already
and the APY, and they don't need a front end to do anything. So
exactly, they trade on their own front ends. That's very true.
Exactly.
On their own trading desks. Yeah,
that's to avoid plebs selling in the chaos or buying in the dip, basically.
That's right. Hey, we got 90 people watching. Smash the likes, please. Subscribe to Discourse Syndicate on this makeshift Wake Up Hex stream today. But I think we're doing
Wake Up Hex from Wish.
Wake Up, yeah. Wake Up Hex, but I think we're doing all right. The Heist of Stakes had another tweet that just came out, which says that they were number 19 domestically in box office sales.
That's kind of crazy.
That is pretty good. in the top 20. I'm not too familiar with the American systems there, but it sounds.
And we are rated above Oppenheimer on the Rotten Tomatoes, I believe. So that's
Oppenheimer's crazy toy. Yeah. Crazy German. Yeah. Although that must be an interesting
what
movie
should I
too.
click on Rotten Tomatoes?
5 stars. Please, 5 stars. But if you want to leave a written comment, you have to sign up with an email. But if you got to burn an email. And then I also wanted to make a journalistic correction from last week, Thursday. I said something rubbish because we were talking about the SEC case and the centralized supply of Hex, where it's the OA wallets or the dormant wallets, and I made the comparison that the top 2,000 wallets hold 90% of the Bitcoin supply, which is wrong. It's not the top 2,000, it's the top 2%. So I had that wrong, but it's still crazy. So if you look here, if you're starting with people that hold between 1 and 10 Bitcoin in their wallet, that's only 1.76%. Then the people 10 to 100 Bitcoin, that's only almost like 0.25%. So if you add these together, you're coming up to top 2%. But this is the Bitcoin that they control. So it's 4 and 4 and 9. If you tally these together, that's 18 million Bitcoin out of the currently 19.5 million that's already in supply.
Yeah, you have a percentage on the last column, I believe. Right? It's. Can you go back? Yeah, so it's 98%, right?
Pretty much, yes.
Or 92 if you only check the 1 to 10 Ethereum.
So that's what I was trying to say, and like that's crazy. 18 million out of 19.5, and 4 million out of the 19.5 are considered lost forever due to boating accidents and people dying and throwing their laptops on landfills and
BTC
and all this crap.
And BTC has 15 years. 15. Yes. So
exactly, that's 15 years in.
And if you go
in the establishment of Bitcoin, like Jimmy Song and Ton Vays, they have the audacity to tell us that the way our supply is centralized, that's a scam.
Like, well, that's because they're part of the 98%, right? I mean, that's it. Right?
Absolutely, of course they are.
Yeah.
But blame us about the 90%, like the Hex OA supply, which we know has never sold.
It's because we are on the fringe of society, like Eric Wall said. We are the outcasts, and
the outcasts of the crypto space.
We just trade with each other, and we are just lost causes.
It would be interesting trying to see him say that to my face if I met him in the beach, because he's very close by.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to make that correction because I got my numbers wrong. But in principle, I was making the right point. All right. Have we got any unfinished business? Anything else we need to cover?
Not really.
Well, I was late, so I don't know. But what have you covered?
Yeah, I have something to throw out that kind of goes with what Alan was saying.
To throw on the grill.
Throw on the grill some steaks. You know what, guys? I've been doing this, and maybe it'll be helpful to other people. Try to figure out whether you're doing okay in the pulse chain or not. I've been sticking to pulse ratios. I mean, I know the dollar values are all over the place. You know, the fiat values are all over the place. But I just keep going back to what are my holdings worth in pulse, because that kind of gives me a little bit of clarity. So I don't know if that's helpful to anybody else, but that's what I'm doing.
And
it makes sense because everything is valued in pulse.
Yeah, and I do exactly the same. And to me, for instance, now I'll probably buy Pulse X faster than Pulse actually.
Yeah, makes sense.
And if we check the ratio between Pulse and X, for instance, it has been going up. So X is being valued more against Pulse than at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Just so people be aware, because people see everything dropping, but I remember in the first weeks, like 1X was like 100 Pulse, and now it's 190 Pulse. So basically, X almost doubled in price compared to Pulse. So everyone was saying, "Oh, Pulse will overperform X, no doubt about it." We are seeing the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So,
are you disappointed that we're not pumping more on the Heist of Stakes movie coming out?
No, I was expecting sell the news event.
Yeah,
right. SEC was front running that.
Yes, Gary front runner.
Gary front runner.
I told you here that I didn't believe that it would pump on the documentary, and the documentary to me would be a tool that would help actually onboard people from now into the future and help overall during the entire period. It wouldn't be like a single day event,
like more gradual.
Yeah. And to me that's more sustainable and a better result than the alternative.
Absolutely.
So I hope it to help onboard people and raise the price in a more natural way. Then we have a big pump and dump candle that would only look bad in the chart. We also had the dump candle, but we know the reason why.
But what do we have to look forward to still in the near term? Because people said he will never launch Pulse Chain, and Pulse Chain is here. People said the Heist of Stakes will never come out. It's out. It's in actual cinemas all across the United States, and we just saw top 20 in the box office for this weekend. So that's kind of everything delivered. I know that there's still things like liquid loans, and that is still in the making. It's supposed to come to market, but other than that, everything is pretty much there that people fudded us all this time on. So what else are people waiting on before they're jumping in? Or is it just the general that nobody's dealing with crypto? I mean, if you look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're also going super sideways for months already. They're not really going anywhere. So maybe it's the overall sentiment. Is that fair? That broader crypto needs to move for us to move as well?
Yeah, I think everyone is waiting for that thing that will make everything start to go up. And until someone agrees when that thing and what that thing is,
the powers that be,
exactly, we'll still hang around here.
Well,
yeah, and even though we kind of think of it as ETH and BTC not doing anything, it's normal. I mean, this is what happens, right? You go through protracted months. You know, it might be a year before you see big movements. You know,
we just feel it more because we are here every day.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the problem. Because when I first bought X, I literally went dark for 2 years or 1.5 years, and when I came, woohoo! This is amazing.
Me for a year almost. That's true. That's very true.
And the problem now is we are here every day, looking at the phone, checking things, and it feels like it's longer and arduous. But it's the same old. So
because we're a lot more involved right now, but also with the broader market. If I go back to Bitcoin, I was actually quite surprised when I saw that this afternoon that it's already 19. When I got into crypto in 2016, 2017, this was at 16, just crossed 17 million, and now it's already 19 and a half out of a 21 million maximum supply, and statistics say it takes another 100 years until the last Bitcoin is mined. So the difficulty rate will jump up crazy with the next couple of halvings. It will become more and more difficult to actually mine Bitcoin, which makes scarcity, and then
but wait,
could be
guys,
positive for price.
How is the supply increasing if Bitcoin is deflationary? How is that possible? don't you remember
3 million in like this the time
Bitcoin
span?
is deflationary, and
yeah.
It just inflates less. It just inflates less over time. So
no, but this, I think the scarcity with that, I mean, it's nothing to do with us, but the broader crypto market could be really in for a tightening, and then should be positive on price action. Yeah. So, I mean, we're all believing here, so we're not being fudded out. Maybe Peter.
Always Peter.
You need to go out, enjoy the summer, go to the beach, exactly. And everything will be more pleasant in a few months.
And enjoy the bull market.
That's right. Alan, will you please do us the favor?
Yeah, I mean, just that Bitcoin reference is beautiful because we have very similar dynamics in Hex with the T-share rate, with the inflation. So I'm looking forward to it, man. 10, 15 years down the road, it goes by fast. Not when you're staring at the screen every 20 minutes, but if you go dark for a little while, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with how little effort you made and how much you gain in the end. So keep your head up.
You know what you guys should do? Make some kids, have them pump your backs. That's how we do it.
Oh, true.
With kids, you cannot be scared into anything.
Oh, true.
Yep.
No sexual advice.
Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and I just want to say Hex is better than Bitcoin. Hex is better than Bitcoin. Did I mention that Hex is better than Bitcoin?